What's up, glow getters? Happy Friday when you see this. This is going to be Friday when you see this. It's Wednesday for us. It's a Wednesday night. It's 9:20 in Texas right now. Late night sessions with Des. And I've got my lovely Tommy back with me today. We're going to be talking more about friendship. Today's going to be a little bit more of like an interview Q&A episode between each other. So super
I'm
excited.
trying to be a little more concise.
Yeah. How are you, babe?
Pretty good. This week has been very nice, very smooth, so that's always accepted.
We like it.
Yes.
Okay. Shall we cheers? We have wine today.
Yes. Let's
We have
cheers.
wine today. Okay.
Bloop. Bloop. Lovely.
Clink. Clink.
Cheers to good health.
Maybe I can like, when I edit this, I can do like little clink.
Right, we're not live. I do try to tell myself that. I'm like, we're not live.
Nope, we're recording. You good, babe. It's just us.
It's for real.
Just us right now.
For real. Right. Okay.
Okay. Oh, I'm super excited to ask you these now. Like, I've had them written down, but I'm like, they're in my little book. Nobody can see them. Now I'm really going to say them out loud.
Like, ooh, I said them out loud here. I'm like, oh. I was like, oh my God, that's a good one.
Okay. One of the things I would love to know is how has our connection and our friendship influenced your other friendships?
Eyes are watering. That's how you know Whoa, yeah, this was a good one. Well, it's definitely influenced my overall patience with them. All of you collectively seem to hold my patience in high regard, which is great. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So it's more of the internal side of patience. It's really made that much larger with them because I've had the chance. They're just sort of like all you in a way. Like when it comes to how I treat them, the way that I speak has to also be the way that I would speak to you. And you are, what I've practiced with you is speaking to you in the best way that I would like to speak to myself. Which I also realized that recently that I guess it has to do with like breaking out of like the imposter syndrome as much as possible, because my friends have also always been very consistent in telling me that like my words have always felt very different to them. And that's always been because I'm like, well, I love you, so of course I'm going to speak to you in a way that in the best way that I can convey that is as least harmful to you.
Right.
But I realize that, that must also mean that has to mean that that's a reflection of how I treat myself. So it's like this also like acknowledging that there is another side to the thought forms that are typically very obstructive towards myself. And it's sometimes hard to acknowledge that I've done a pretty good job of sort of like growing the other side and like paying attention to it. And it is reflected in my friendships, and it's very hard for me to acknowledge that sometimes. But a lot of that has to do with all the fucking work that you and I have put in. So,
Yeah.
so it's definitely helped
Yeah.
in that way.
One of the, and I know I've shared this on my podcast a few times, but one of the best pieces of advice Camilla ever gave me when it came to my self-talk was, imagine I was talking to her, and like if I wouldn't say it to her, then don't say it to myself. And I was like, I would never say that to you.
I was like, yeah, so why would you say that? I would never say that to you. How would you feel if I said it to you? And
Right, yeah.
it
That
would
one
feel
really
terrible.
still sticks with me today, like it's fresh.
That was a big one.
It
Man,
was.
it's always the things that I'm just like saying, where I'm just like, I think I was eating like some oatmeal or something. Like we
Yeah.
were eating, like, because
We
you
were
were
sitting
also
on the kitchen
eating.
floor
Yeah.
eating.
It's like, why are you doing it then? I was like, oh no, no. Wow.
All of our
Like,
best epiphanies happen on the kitchen floor. That's where we have
a lot of
some
them
really
do.
life-changing moments. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Magic
Wow,
in
that's
there.
true. That's true. All the food is blessed
Mm-hmm.
with all of our breakdowns.
Yeah. Um, feel like I feel like it's the same. Yeah. I just see a lot of mirrors, you know? Like the people that I have gotten close with after after you and I establishing a friendship, it's been very interesting. And in some ways it helps, obviously, like with you and Trisha, right? You guys have the physical appearance piece that is so similar as well. That my brain just, it was so easy to trust her because my brain was like, it's Camilla. No, girl, that is not Camilla.
Like, look at the hair, though. Oh, listen to the jokes.
The hair, the jokes, the energy, the same energy, the way you guys come in the room and everything. But that's also such a good, it's like such a good teaching moment as far as as far as personal alignment goes, because I think our friendships really do influence our spiritual journey if we're on one. And so,
Yeah.
um, meeting people that, and by more like Camilla, I don't mean that they're just like little clones of her. I just mean that like energetically it's easy with them, right? And so I find that the friends that I've made after you and I have had some kind of connection, it's been easier to connect with them. Like experiencing intimacy with you has made it easier to connect with them or find that place in which we can connect at least at first, right? Because I feel like for me that's always the most awkward part when you're making friends is like, what do I talk to them about? Like, I don't know if they like the same things I like.
Yes. Like, ooh. Do you like coffee or like going outside or like, I don't know,
Yeah.
movies and stuff? Like, yeah. It
Yeah.
is
But
strange.
I think, yeah, I think that they've just become more and more mirrors of not just you, but then obviously like myself, right? Mirrors of myself. But
Ultimately,
yeah,
always
for
comes
sure.
back to one.
Mm-hmm.
The law of one.
Exactly.
One, Desiree. We are all that.
One. We are one.
uh, okay. So, how has your commitment to your spiritual journey showed up in our friendship? In friendship, in general.
Having hard conversations is the first thing that comes to mind. Learning how to have hard conversations. Learning how to have conversations that feel scary, that feel like they could be explosive. And I know, I mean, as most of us know, a lot of that is just nervous system conditioning, right? So we grew up in environments and are used to being around people that it typically would be explosive, or it wouldn't be resolved. Um, and so, kind of like I mentioned last episode, it's like I I was for a very long time a very reactive person. Um, had an experience that I was like, I don't want to do that again. So went the opposite direction and then shut down and started teaching my nervous system that it was okay to shut down and numb out and not feel. So when it comes to like your personal spiritual journey, for me, a lot of that has been coming back to my emotions, like, and really owning and embodying my emotions. And you can own them, you can embody them, but then to express them, like to hear the emotions come out of your mouth, and sometimes have to tell someone who you really deeply love that like they hurt your feelings is really hard. And like nobody wants to hurt someone else's feelings by telling them that they hurt your feelings. It's so scary.
That's like literally the main reason that people don't talk about their feelings is because they're afraid they're going to hurt the other person's. I'm like, for the love of Christ, you guys. But I get it. Obviously, I was like that for the longest time. So,
Right.
you know, again, not all of this applies to me as well. I'm only
For
human.
sure. Yeah. But I think it's also been really healing for me in learning how to establish boundaries, because the friends that I do have that I can have these healthy conversations with, I also can establish boundaries and not be made to feel a certain way. And also they know that it's not personal and I'm not making them feel a certain way.
Right.
Especially
That is very
when I
important.
moved. Yeah, and especially when I moved, like when I moved to Texas and moved away from my friend group, essentially. Now as an army brat, my friends are kind of everywhere anyways, but like my most recent friend group, right? Uh, it's been really interesting figuring out my communication this time. And there are times where like Trisha, for instance, she'll text me and it's something super sweet. And I'm like, okay, set a reminder for yourself. Don't forget to get back to her. And then it's like 4 days have gone by because we've been in the middle of looking at houses and I've been looking for jobs. And like, I don't even realize how much time has passed. And I'm like, oh my God, I just left her on red. And so there's part of Desiree, though, that like wouldn't have owned that before, right? I would have been scared to even own like my part in it, which is just that I have ADD and like I forget shit even when I set reminders.
Yes. 100%.
And so it's a combination of me responding to her with like, "Hey babe, I'm sorry. Honestly, I just totally forgot to respond to you." While also just being honest, and like that can be a boundary, right? A lot of the times when we talk about setting boundaries, like it's not even about like being like, "Hey, you crossed the line." Like, no, man,
Yes.
it's just like letting the person know who you really are. I love you.
Exactly.
You're never gonna question how much I love you, but I'm also forgetful as fuck.
Yeah, this happens sometimes. And so just
Right,
because
like
it doesn't mean whatever your brain is trying to tell you right now, it doesn't mean that. I promise. I'm going to state it now so you don't have to think about it. Don't even question it, bro. And I'm going to do my best. I swear to God. I'm going to put you on my favorites. Okay? I'm going to make it so that you override my do not disturb settings. Okay? I'm going to, you know, when I know that I'm to be expecting you, I'm going to put my ringer on because I never have my ringer on. Not even the vibration. Not even. So I'm going to do my best, but I'm gonna forget still, okay? Just so you know, it's gonna happen sometimes, okay? It's gonna happen less, though, than if I didn't do all those things I just said.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah, but I think most of all, it is really just that embodiment of all of that inner work that we do. Like what is the personal development if we don't practice it ever with anybody?
Exactly. And people are so scared.
I
It's just
know.
it's not, I mean, it's not
I
absurd.
know.
It's absurd in the sense of like, gosh, it's absurd in an exasperated sense, but it's not absurd. Like, I completely understand. Like,
Right.
I
We
get
get
it.
it. We know.
I've had to go
Yeah.
through it. It's terrifying. It's utterly terrifying. I understand. Like, it makes your body physically like,
Yeah.
panicked, and you just don't even function. I get it. But
Mhm.
we gotta, what
But
do we
also
do?
like the fallacy of living in peace when it's by yourself. Are you really living in peace?
Not at all. You're just
You're
flailing
just
around in the shallow end, you
all by
know?
yourself.
Yeah, let's not even call it the shallow end. Maybe it reaches to here. You know what?
Right.
Maybe it reaches to here. But the
That's
point
fine.
is, you're not gonna drown right here. Right here, you're not
Yeah.
gonna drown. And you know
No.
what? Even when you choose to go deeper, you're still not gonna
We
drown.
got floaties. We got
'Cause
floaties out here. We know how to
that's your
swim.
ocean. That's your
Exactly.
ocean. You can't drown in your own ocean, honey boo boo. That's not how it works.
Exactly.
Okay.
You are
So,
the ocean.
exactly.
We are one.
You are the one ocean, the one infinite ocean. Hey, you laugh, but I believe that 100%.
Amen.
Amen, Jesus.
How do you think our friendship has evolved and stayed safe and or strong despite the physical distance?
Well, it's awesome that you asked me this. So somebody today asked me about long distance relationships, one of my friends. So weird.
Wow. Right on time.
So, right. Ultimately, definitely communication, of course, is number one. But
Hmm.
like communication is just like an umbrella term. And so under this is like the communication of what? And for long distance relationships, it is very important that you can clearly state your needs for this relationship to continue to feel safe.
Hmm.
And the fact that that we were able to sit down before you left and we were able to talk about and like freely express, which it's obviously whether or not it's coming out of like a fearful type of energy. The point is, I'm not dwelling in it, I'm doing something about it.
Hmm.
So as to not get lost in this fear via being like, dude, this is what I need when you leave. And so we sat down and I was like, so I thought about like every time you guys go watch a movie, you let me know what movie, and then I can go watch that movie or something. Even if you just watch it on the TV and
Hmm.
just let me know what it is so that we always have something to talk about. Just in case. Right? um so like being able to just like sit down and make a plan and
Hmm.
number one, like establish just like we're gonna talk at least once a week. Like we already
Hmm.
knew that because we already text very frequently. So I'm not
Hmm.
worried too much about like texting. And I already know that sometimes we disappear for like a couple days. It's not the same as like per the last podcast. It's not for days anymore. But like
It's not
it's
because we're like hiding from the world.
yes, it's natural sometimes that we send a message in the morning at 11 a.m. and maybe don't get back
Yeah.
till the next day sometimes. And that's okay, that's normal. But we established like we need to at least talk once a week.
Mhm.
Even if it's like a long dedicated voice messages, like
Mhm.
it's and that part had kind of evolved energetically, like the specifics of everything were not like Hound. We didn't write the specifics of everything. It was just sort of like a loose, sort of like, I'm gonna need this type of communication for sure. And being able to sit down and like do those things, and even now, just like, the ease of being able to be like, I'm gonna be like jealous of all your new friends. and it's just being able to say it, and it's not like this big thing, because that I'm not also like dwelling on it, and there's nothing that you need to change, and you don't need to go stop looking for friends. Like, there's like this safety that has been established, that like, there aren't all of these added, like, oh, no one's going home and like over analyzing something that the other has said. And with distance, I think that's very important. So that has helped tremendously. And then just like scheduling. And then for like relationships, a partner relationship, I think there needs to be, well, I guess, and even for us, because we have talked about this, there does need to be certain boundaries set about how often we need to see each other. Like before you moved, when we talked about this very thing with like you and Tyler, because Tyler moved first and Desiree stayed here. What a crazy time. It's hard to believe it's been almost a year. It's already been a year since he left. That's for
he left, yeah.
Yeah, what? What? Oh my God. Moment.
I know.
We'll just do like a wow, wow, wow. Oh my God.
I'm warped.
Oh my God. So we created like this sort of loose schedule for you guys, where it's like, all right, well, you're gonna need to see each other like at least like no longer than 3 months. And that's kind of been the same for us. Like, we're gonna try our damnedest for like no longer than 3 months is the goal. And so I think it just like, it's very important to establish these things, and then it's very important to commit to these things. So it's like, you cannot do this without, I feel like, having like successfully, without having established already like a very safe space between you. Like, if you both naturally feel safe together, great, what the fuck, whatever you want to do. But there needs to be a space where like you can really discuss all of these things, and then that it's safe enough to expect that this person is going to commit to these things, because that's also a part of it too. And so I think that long distance relationships, like, I feel like a lot of people try to do them because they seem easier, but really they're like excruciatingly difficult. For me, for example, like, you have to be very committed. You have to be very committed to this person to really do this. And some people, and then each of you, this is the other thing, each of you must have enough like awareness of self to be dependent of self, so that you are not needing to have this person's attention all of the time, because you just cannot. And so if you just cannot get over that, it's just obviously going to cause a lot of tension between the two parties, whoever they are, because there are certain expectations that cannot be met for things that are beyond each party's control. So it's like very, it makes this very redundant, petty arguing. So a sense of self. Each party should have a sense of self before embarking on this long distance journey, which will be difficult no matter what. Even if you each do have a sense of self, and you're very confident, like, oh my goodness, it is very but I like that question.
I think you hit the nail on the head. The one thing I would like to add to is I think it's given us a really beautiful place to be even more honest with each other and like really just express how we're feeling without being concerned about how it might make the other person feel. Like for instance, being jealous of our new friends, or I know there was a point in time like back in January when you were going out a lot with a lot of new people and I was like, I'm
I know, I felt so terrible. I felt there was like a guilt that I had. Part of me was like, Desiree is out there, like, you're like over here, like, you're like, oh, no, Desiree, but like, still, you already friends, like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, like, it was awful. Oh
it's
my
okay,
God.
it's okay, because we had to go
It's been
through what we had
rough.
to go through, right? So
I know.
okay.
I'm so happy you've found those people recently.
Oh my God. No, I know. But like had we not had that kind of safety in our relationship, there's no way I would have been able to tell you that without worrying about
Definitely
like
not.
if you were gonna take it personally or if you were gonna obsess about it or
Right. And with my past with like jealousy, like not just like in general, like jealousy is my
yeah.
least favorite flavor of emotion. I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite.
Same.
It consumes, it's all consuming, it's disgusting, it's
Uh,
atrocious. It makes me want to
it's so
vomit. And
annoying. It
also
really
it
makes me
makes
roll my
people,
eyes real hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
it makes people
Yeah.
commit violent crimes and it should be
Mm.
avoided at all times. But the point is that you can't always avoid jealousy. So, oh my gosh. So like back then, like I had very like my patience for it was like zilch. Like I felt it a little in somebody and I was immediately like jealous of what? Jealous of who? Jealous of what? When? Where? Why? Why? What's the point of this? What's the point? What's the point? Why? And they're like, whoa. So
I
so
know.
it's you know, we've evolved for sure.
We've
And
done
also
the
like
yeah.
because you've evolved in your personal life as well, like that initial feeling of jealousy is also feels different. And it isn't
Mm-hmm.
as like wiggly. That's the
Right.
best way to describe it. Like where you're just like, hey, can I talk to you about something? Yeah. Yeah, no, it's totally fine. But all I'm saying is that like, you know that one girl, like, so she's like your friend, like for real? Or like it's intense, man.
Yes,
So
it's
it's
so
not even like
intense.
that anymore. Even jealousy
No.
now through the spiritual journey has like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
presents differently,
Yes.
more
Yeah.
agreeable, more easy to like fly away with you, fly away.
Exactly. Which makes it easier to talk about. Which is
Yes,
just nice for everybody to be on the same page and to be able to communicate that, I think.
exactly. Thank God.
Woo!
Okay, we did
We're
it.
doing it.
High five. We'll do a clap sound.
Yeah.
It'll be a double clap, even though it's only one clap, just to
Oh my
make it
God, I
weird.
can't wait to edit this.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm gonna ask a question. My eyes are
okay.
watering. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go from the top to bottom, so I'm not gonna choose. What's been the most challenging thing about being my friend?
Most challenging.
Oh my God. My heart.
Well, the short answer is seeing myself, only because the most challenging part is the part of me that I know is the most challenging as well.
Of course.
And it's just because we are highly energetic people and we require a lot of energy to maintain a relationship with.
Oh, I really do.
Yeah. And that's okay. And I've always been okay with that. I've seen it from the beginning and I've always been okay with that because I know I do too.
I didn't really know I did until you came along and I was like, oh. Well, I
Yeah,
guess it is
yeah.
though.
And this is, I like to use the word like high maintenance when I talk about myself in this way, and it's not that I'm high maintenance in the sense of like I need to have all of these things done materially, right? Or a certain, like my bed has to be sitting at 45 degrees every night. Like I have to have a cool 67 degrees. Like it's not none of
Or
that
I
stuff.
can't.
Right. But energetically, I've always shown up really, and that's something I know we talked about in last episode too. It's like sometimes I can show up too strongly, too much, and it overwhelms the other person. Um,
Mhm.
and that was also out of like a neediness. But the most challenging part of being your friend has just been being able to meet your energetic and emotional needs and like knowing that it's tit for tat too. Like it's not, I've never felt like you ask me for more than I ask you for, but it's understanding that like I am not the only person in the world who's that way, right? Like it's like not only Desiree gets to be that way, like especially if you're going to really ask for that kind of energy from people, then the kind of people you're going to end up in relationship with are going to ask for that back.
Mhm. Was it surprising to find someone that asked for it back?
Yeah, that is the most challenging part is like
But damn,
that you will ask for it.
she's
Yeah,
really willing. Damn, she's really
yeah.
willing to like. Shit. Oh shit.
Yeah, because it's also like Camilla won't say anything unless it really is like weighing on her. And so like if she says something or asks for something, then I'm like, oh no. I'm
I was like, I can't breathe. I'm like, for me
like,
to say
how have I
something,
been
I'm
missing
like,
all the signs? See, that's where I would go. Is like, how did I miss all the signs before this? Just because we're that connected though too. So I would be like, what is wrong with you? Not
they're
even
all
paying attention to your friends.
they're all just subtle energetic signs. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm just like this energetically, so this is normal. It's like, oh no, everything's cool. And oh my God. I like that. For me it has been dealing with like I think because of this the same sort of, mirror, just it's been very hard to deal with my own like tendency to compare.
Hmm.
And that's been always, it's been throughout our friendship. So it's not like suddenly emerged now, like which I have a certain degree to of that with everyone, but like the farther away they get from me, the less I compare, the less
Yeah.
mind I paid, to the comparison. Um, but that's been difficult. It's like I be, you become aware of the fact that the brain compares. That's just what it does. That's
Hmm.
how it helps us survive. Um, you have to compare this for that to know what to choose, or else you could die. It's
Hmm.
fine. But it's like I'm so aware of that, and the thoughts. This brain is like the wide-eyed
Ugh,
lens,
it's
and so
so
there are just
incessant.
so many things to compare, to be compared. Like, oh, so many
Yeah.
opportunities to compare things. Um, and so it's like I hear it just, it's all like always having to like, no, like,
Hmm.
through this like sea of comparisons, just navigate through this like ugly mess sometimes. And obviously those are in like lower vibrating moments that we get
Hmm.
flooded with like these types of things. But for me
Right.
it's always, and I think that would probably just be a challenge, and for sure in like these type of relationships, probably, and like my partner relationships, this is also um
Yeah.
a thing
I
as
do it
well.
a
It's a
lot with
thing.
my romantic partners for sure.
Ah, goodness, it's so hard.
Yeah. Oof. That's a tough
Man,
one.
yes. I mean, it's definitely it's easier now, of course. I have much different self-talk, which is the key to this.
Hmm.
Um, But either
Just
way,
for a certain level of like, well, we were talking about it for Jesus before the episode, but now it's for us. There's a certain level of arrogance that comes with being someone's best friend, like especially when you understand just where you stand in their
yeah.
lives. So it is kind of funny
When
when like
you
people try to
really
compare
know.
themselves to you and you're like, "Oh, you're so cute. You think you know her."
How you think you know me?
Right.
Right.
You think you know her, so you think you know me.
Like, oh man. Oh man, that is very true. It's a subtle arrogance from like, whew. I'm like,
Yeah.
don't worry. I'm like, I'm just gonna let time. Time is on my side.
Mm-hmm.
I subscribe to its relativity. Therefore, it is on my side. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you. Wow.
Mm.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Thanks for answering that one. I was like, oh, this is gonna be scary.
No, I like that one a lot.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad.
All right. What similarities and differences do you notice in dynamics with old and childhood friends versus newer friendships like yours and mine, or anything in like the recent years?
Ooh. Well, this is the one where I was like, oh my God, it could go either way. Wow. Shout out to like my 3 childhood friends. They know who
Mhm.
they are. We all went to the same elementary school in Apple Valley, Minnesota. For those that don't know. Wow. You know, our friendship now that it's evolved like energetically and what we call spiritually, but when you're little, like it doesn't have a name. Um,
Right.
we had back then we had that just sort of like, you know, that psychic, just childlike, flowy connection where like we're playing the same game and you're clearly imagining the same things because you're playing the same games and you're in the same creepy house and suddenly you're imagining the same things.
Mhm.
And we've now sort of evolved to, I mean, it's always been there, of course, but we've evolved to be able to pay attention to it with each other.
Mhm.
And so that is similar now. Um, wow. The ease, there's always been a certain ease to like my close friendships.
Mhm.
Which is lovely. That has always been lovely. I've had like pinnacle sort of like people throughout my life that like the pinnacle people,
Yep.
I can name all of them. Everybody knows
Yep.
all of them. Like everybody knows
Mhm.
them. They've heard their name at some point. Um, and there's always been a certain ease that at some kind of early age, I assume with the relationship with like my aunt, I just
Mm.
realized, at least with conversation, because that was easier for me. You know, that's more physical, the physical words.
Right.
Um, at least with conversation, I realized that there should be this ease.
Mhm.
And so that's something that has been similar in like my close friendships. We can't get close if I can't just like like jabber away with you. It doesn't matter if you can jabber to me. If I can't jabber
Right.
back, there's a disconnect. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Right.
I'm sorry. I will do my best and I will always respond to you the best I can, but if it's not there, it's not there.
Right.
And the differences I mean, the differences is definitely like not so much for like the smaller years, the single digit to like the 10, 11 years old. Because those were like very energetically charged, so those are just very easy. And at that age, like you don't really like talk. And you've also haven't experienced so much crap yet to like really be vulnerable about. But I do think that like I've always just been I just say stuff. So I do think that with my friends I have, even at that age, I was also I just talked, like I openly talked about like the abuse that I witnessed with my mother when I was younger. Like those things I just talked about with them. Like just casually, like there wasn't like it was just a thing, because in a way it's just things that people go through. Not a lot of people, not like all the American kids that I was like all of a sudden around when I came to the States when I was little, but you know, it was okay. But from like 12 and above, it's definitely been, first, energetically, the most the key difference is just how it feels. Like I really realized, well, I put it into words that like the last thing that I pay attention to are people's words and what they say to me. And I pay a lot of attention, according to other people, according to feedback I have received. I'm paying attention to what you're saying. But it's the last thing that I pay attention to. So how I feel. So it's not their energy now, it's how I feel around their energy. And that is the main difference between you and most other humans, basically, is the ease. And it's because it is a complete ease. So I know to what extent I can say certain things to my other very close friends, because I recognize and I acknowledge where they are at. So I will never, when I can, I will never say things past where they are at, because I find it redundant.
Right.
If I think that they can hear me, if they are in a moment where they can hear me, absolutely. That's what I do. I try to push people past where they are at, where they are stuck, especially if you dare to verbalize to me that you feel stuck or that you do not understand something. If you do not want me to speak to you and you do not want to hear my opinion, do not tell me that you do not understand something. For the love of God, do not tell me that. And do not tell me that you feel stuck if you do not want me to help you. Don't.
Right.
You don't want to hear my words? Don't say those words. Don't. So there is a clear that is a boundary. You see? And what I'm looking for in these like expansive relationships, and to be energetically like completely relaxed, to at least the degree of what I'm able to express emotionally out of this like physical body that is me, that is you, there can't really be one. There can't be one when it comes to like what I'm able to express, because that's my nature. I have to be able to say, there's too much in here to not let some of it out. I'm not even letting it all out, but I gotta be able to let all of what I say out 100% of the time to somebody.
Yeah. I'm not
Okay, somebody.
Yeah.
Yes, and not have to filter for whatever reason. And that doesn't mean, there's nothing wrong with them.
Right.
At all. Everybody is going at their own pace in their human journey, and there's just a point where you cannot hear certain things. You just won't. And for whatever reason, it could be because your defenses just kick in naturally, and you at the moment don't know how to go past those. You don't know how to go past the anger and the walls that you put up. And so that's hard for me. And I don't have the time. I don't have it. I'm not going to fight I'm not going to fight your walls because you are the only one that can put them down. Whenever I can, I'm going to let you know that they are there, but I am not going to fight you to... I'm not no sledgehammer. Look at this little body. Like, I don't have the patience for that. So that I would say is the main difference. It is what I feel inside, and the ability to, what I feel, be at all times like completely myself, no matter what self that is at the moment. And that is not in a sense of DID, for those of you out there, just in case. You see where the brain goes? Okay? We all have a lot going on, moods, etc. It is in that sense for those. You see that wink for no reason? Who was that? I don't know. Still me.
Camilas. Yeah, I feel like same, honestly. Yeah. I've stopped trying to save everyone from themselves and save them from the world. That's one thing I've stopped doing in my friendships, like in the last...
It's exhausting.
Yeah, in the last few years is like, that's the biggest difference, I would say. It's like, I'm just like, man, I can't save you from yourself or the world, man. Like, you gotta want to fight. You gotta want to get down in the trenches with me. I can't do it for you.
Exactly. I won't drag you.
Yeah,
I won't drag you.
Yeah.
Like, you're terrified, and like I can't even calm you down. Like, you would be of no use to me in these trenches. You know what I mean? You would be of no use.
Imagine,
I would have to slap you. Like, calm down.
Like, if we were in a war, if this was a battle zone, you and I would be dead, right? Okay, you've already slowed us down. Like,
I'm knocking you out. I'm gonna knock you out. Look, to show mercy for you, and because I love you and brotherhood and all that, I'm gonna knock you out and take you with me. But I'm gonna knock you out because you'd be of no use to me. You might as well just be a lump of coal. So I'm gonna take you like as such.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But I agree. Yeah, I think that was really beautifully put.
Wow, thanks.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's this one.
Oh yeah.
I forget the names, guys.
That one's the kyanite.
Is it? Are you sure? We always have this discussion. We're like, is it really?
Oh no, we always mix it up with the other one. What's the
always? It starts with an S.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. And if you know what this is, tell us in the comments.
Hit us up.
Anyway, I don't go by the name. I don't need to categorize everything. It's fine.
Right, we just know how it feels.
It's fine. Shit, we just know. Okay. I'm gonna give you the juicy one.
Ooh. Okay.
Desiree Uzell Reed. How do you deal with jealousy? Oh. With boyfriends or like friends, etc., etc. And your friends have your boyfriends, and your friends have your friends, and your friends have your dogs.
Oh man. She's come a long way.
We'll drink for that.
Oh.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's a long ways.
Yeah. Now it's a lot of self-conversation. And a lot of my self-conversation these days happens out loud. Like I gotta go in the bathroom and have a conversation.
For real.
Your mom used to be like, "Do you want to go to the bathroom?"
Do we need to go
sitting
to
at the dinner table. I'm like, "Do we need to go to the bathroom?"
my God, I might need to take a time out. Shit.
I think that now when I feel jealous now, that is a sign to me that I have some unexpressed needs and or desires in the relationship. Otherwise, I would not feel threatened by whatever or whoever was coming up, right? Like it wouldn't feel so dangerous if I felt secure
Oh, I hope
in
y'all write that down.
it wouldn't feel so dangerous if I felt secure in my own expression of my needs and wants. It's not really about the other person, actually. Um, it's usually that, like, either I haven't expressed the importance of something to them, and then I witness them doing it with someone else, or I haven't I haven't even expressed maybe necessarily the capacity at which I'm committed or loving them at that period of time and the kind of attention that I need. Um, and so they're just kind of over here doing their own thing, having their own personal journey. Yeah, yes, this did happen recently. And I'm like, yeah, that's totally what I want for you. Meanwhile, I'm like, motherfucker, you're not supposed to go falling in love with everybody.
Jesus.
But it's because I did not express how in love I was, right? So, like, if we're not communicative about those needs and desires and where we really stand, even when we are in a friendship or in a romantic relationship, and like, you should know that like your partner loves you. No, the fuck, I shouldn't, okay? If he doesn't tell me every day,
You better tell me.
then how do I know, okay? Because listen, Desiree today versus Desiree yesterday, that's a different person. She might not
Yeah.
love.
Doesn't need to hear it today.
Right. But
It is
these
very
days,
important.
jealousy is a lot of self-talk and figuring out what's been unexpressed. I know that's where it stems from me. I've found the root now.
Yeah. What is unexpressed? That is very true. It's like, well, I didn't say that I wanted to go. I
Right.
guess. Stupid. Or like, I didn't specify that I wanted alone time per se. But like those type of situations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know there was a few times early on in our friendship where I felt that way. And it was like, but Desiree, like you didn't tell her that you were expecting it to just be the two of you, so
Yes, and that was very good because it's also like it's again like the brain tells you that like if you tell me that then I'm gonna think that you're like being like super jealous, and it's like she's like you're like well no,
Right.
like I'm actually like not being that jealous right now, like I really like it's really more innocent than that, really I would just like some alone time, it doesn't seem like that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But your brain will tell you like that I will over exaggerate it, or
Mm-hmm.
feel that you are more upset than you really are.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Yeah.
like deters from saying things. So it's been interesting. I was very happy when you like broke that barrier with yourself, where you were able to just like say those things, because it's very important for me to like remember there's 3 bazillion things in my head all at once, 3 million possibilities for everything you could say at every moment, every second, every day, all the time. So and remember,
Could
I'm
be
not just reading what you're
anything.
saying, right? So most of the time, I'm going to assume that you are lying. In fact, I'm going to feel that you're lying. So I'm gonna make assumptions about how you're feeling, and then on top of it, make assumptions about what you're saying. And so you have to be very clear, and I'm gonna know if you are being honest, because your energy will match your honesty. Period.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
shit is only shifty when they don't match. And when I'm like, something's not right, something isn't right here.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going on. You're fucking lying to my face. Anyways, now we know it's working. This wine works.
Oh, man. Okay. I think this is actually a great question to wrap it up with. What parts of our relationship stand out as true north indicators for you, no matter what kind of relationship or situation? So, just in case you guys missed the last episode, we refer to each other as like our true north, right? That north star of like when I'm looking for certain energy or certain things in a relationship, if it doesn't feel like it could be as easy as it is with Camilla, then I'm kind of like, I love you. Have a great time. Been a blessing.
I appreciate our lessons, our mutual lessons.
Exactly.
Okay, let me open up the blind real quick. Okay, so what parts of our relationship stand out? Okay, it's true north. Well, okay, pretty much what I've been talking about the whole time, which ultimately it comes down to the energy. Because a true north is going to true north means ease. Period. It means ease. And the easier it is, the closer we are to that true north. So with all of my close friends, there is an easiness. That's why we are friends. They will attest to the easiness. I will. So that's for sure a requirement. But yeah, that's the main component. I guess ideally, I guess with all of my relationships, I would be able to be like as vulnerable, and intimate as we are. That would be beautiful. That would be amazing. But you know, that takes a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is,
And it takes both
and that's
parties being able to do that kind of work too. Like typically people can't even do this kind of work in their relationship before they can
right.
do it in a friendship, right?
With like their partners, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It is for sure a commitment, but my relationship must be any relationships must be close to that. There needs to be that type of ease. Um, like even if they never get super close, even if it's my boss, like the last boss that I worked for, Dr. B, he was fantastic, and we got along. We're like this,
Yeah.
man. We're like more like that kind of. Those were his olden days. His olden days.
Before he was a doctor, before he got married, and had children.
Before that, before all of that, before the church, or no, after a tidbit, a pause when church was paused. There was a pause in church.
Yeah. A skip and a hop.
Yeah, a tidbit of time where we were like, but the music still remains. And that will always stay with me. And so even that, the flow has to be there, which I think is why I've been hired for all of my jobs, to be honest. It's just I'm a one and done interviewee. One interview and hire away. And I think it's just the flow of like,
yeah,
we can just being able to flow with these people. But that's just very important to me energetically. How do I feel? And ultimately, they will tend to reflect how I feel somehow. So it's very interesting, that exchange. And you're like, who's reflecting who? And it's like,
right.
Different dimensions, realities.
We're just mirrors. And if you guys heard my phone, that was our timer.
We did it! Woo! Let us know how you think we did in all those comments. Better than last time, right?
We
Notes,
did it.
questions.
Ah,
Just
that was
some-
good. By the way, I agree. I agree with everything that you said. I thought would have been my same answer. The same,
Thank you.
same.
Thank you. Thank you. Same with.
Oh, I love this. This is one of my. I know we've only done 3 episodes so far, so what am I talking about? It's one of my favorites, but this is my favorite so far.
This is our favorite. This is also my favorite. We've done 3,
Mm-hmm.
2
Well, because we
episodes.
broke the first one up into 2.
Oh, I was like, wait, we have done
Yeah.
3 hours. That's true. Yeah,
For
this
the
has been
people,
really
for the
fun.
people.
For the people. We're doing it for you
Yeah,
at home.
we get it. We have short attention spans too. We're like 2 hours. Who's gonna listen to 2 hours?
Sorry, guys. My
Oh,
apologies.
good. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us, being here.
Thanks,
This was a fun
guys.
episode. Yeah. Make sure you guys check out the show notes. I have my Instagram
Yes.
information in there, my email if you guys are interested in coaching. I'm doing all of the coaching right now. So if you want to do fitness, mindset, spirituality, whatever you want to dip your toes into, I'm doing it. And
She's
then I
doing
also
it
have,
all.
I'm doing it all. I also have Camila's Instagram in the show notes as well. So you guys make sure you go follow her. And I think next
We got
time,
links to my t-shirts.
are we going to have it this time or next time? This time?
We're gonna do it this time.
We're
Yeah.
going to do it this time. Yeah. Duolinguish.
We're gonna do it this time.
Super cute.
Right? Duolinguist t-shirts. More
This
artwork.
one has, that's, she did that. She painted that. And then she put it on a shirt.
It's the blue manty with the
So
Duolinguist
cool.
logo.
The blue manty. I love it.
You don't have to speak 2 languages. If you speak English and bullshit, that counts as 2. So
Yes, exactly.
remember.
Oh, and she also does artwork. I'm gonna do a little commercial.
Wow. Thanks, guys. I did do those. I
Wrapping
will
paper
attest.
off.
I did do those.
But I have 2 more. I have a total of 4 I get to put in my new house. I already picked a wall. So
Yeah, guys.
make
all
sure you
of
guys
those
go
in my
follow
Etsy
her.
store.
She'll paint you some little pictures. She'll make you a t-shirt. She can
Whatever
teach you
you
some
like.
things too. Yeah, whatever
I
you
got
like.
boots. I got wrapping paper. I got phone cases. Whatever you need, I got it.
Beautiful. I love
Let me
it.
know.
She's got it all. She's like the man on the street.
Whatever you need, baby. I got it all right
Yes.
here. Wow, thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for hanging out tonight, you guys. This was awesome. Make sure you guys also vote in the poll for the next episode, whether you want to talk about money or romance. Where you guys want us to go next.
Ooh,
All right,
where are
guys.
we traveling,
Signing off.
Petunia?
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Good night. Happy hump day.